In this video, we will be learning about sets using the roster method. So first up, let's talk about sets. Sets are a collection of distinct objects. These distinct objects can be anything from numbers, letters, symbols, and it can even be other sets. Think of a set like a book sack that holds all of your belongings in one place. So if our book sack is our set, then what do we call the belongings in our book sack? Well, we call those elements. Elements are pieces of our set. They're different from one another, but they are all a part of the same set. So, for example, a notebook is different from a pencil, but it's still all in our book sack. So now that we know what sets and elements are, let's talk about roster method. Roster method is going to be a notation we use to describe our sets or write our sets out. So roster method is usually used whenever we have a set so small that we can write out the elements one by one. So how do we write a set in roster method? So we have curly braces that are going to enclose our set, and every time we list an element, we put a comma. And let's say we list another element, we put a comma. And once we reach the last element, we will not put a comma, and we'll just leave the element there. So for this first lecture problem, it says write a set consisting of your 3 favorite fruits and label it with capital F. So capital F is going to be our set name here. So in roster method, we do a open brace and a closed curly brace. So we're going to put our open curly brace and then we list our elements in our set one by one. So our elements in our set are going to be our 3 favorite fruits. Now, your 3 favorite fruits is something that's subjective. It's going to range from person to person. So there's not exactly a correct answer, but as long as your elements in your set are your 3 favorite fruits, then the answer is correct. But my 3 favorite fruits are going to be bananas, apples, and oranges. So that's one of the possible answers you can get from this question. So for the second problem, it says write a set consisting of 5 kitchen utensils and label it with capital U. So capital U is going to be our set name here, and we're going to open our set with curly braces. Now we need to list 5 kitchen utensils. Now there's more than 5 kitchen utensils, so there's going to be a different combination of answers, but as long as you list 5 kitchen utensils, then your answer is correct. So the ones that I can think of off my head are going to be a spoon, a fork, a knife, a spatula, and lastly, a can opener. And then we close our set with a curly brace. So this is one of the possible answers that you can get from this problem. Hey everyone, before we get back to the video, I just wanted to give a reminder to like the video if you enjoyed it, leave a comment down below if you have anything to say about the video, hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with some of the content I post, and to turn on post notifications to be notified when I upload. Thank you. So now that we went through the lecture and we've done a couple lecture problems, let's try to do some practice problems to help us get better at listing sets using the roster method. So for this first practice problem, it says represent each set using the roster method, the set of secondary colors. So secondary colors are made when you mix 2 primary colors together. Remember, our primary colors are red, blue, and yellow. So let's open our set using a curly brace and let's list all of the secondary colors. So when we mix blue and red together, we get purple. When we mix red and yellow together, we get orange. And when we mix blue and yellow together, we get green. And we close our set, and that's your answer. It doesn't matter what particular order your elements are in, as long as you have secondary colors in your set, your answer is correct. So for the second practice problem, it says for us to write the set of 5 tree types in roster method. So there's more than 5 tree types that we know. So you're not going to be able to fit all tree types in the same set, so you're going to get different answers, but as long as your answer has 5 tree types, then your answer is correct. So let's open our set using a curly brace and let's list our 5 tree types. So the ones I can think of is a willow tree, an oak tree, a coconut tree, an olive tree, and finally a magnolia tree. So we're going to close our set, and that's going to be one of the possible answers you can get. So for this third practice problem, it says to list a set of natural numbers between 20 and 30 in Rosser method. So natural numbers are going to be numbers that are non-negative integers. So like 0, 3, 7, 8, 29, 30, 1 billion, and etc. So if we want to list a set of natural numbers between 20 and 30, this means that we have to start at 21 and then go all the way to 29, because we are going to find numbers that are natural that are between 20 and 30. So we're not exactly including 20 and 30, and we're not starting at 20 and ending at 30. So we're going to open our set with a curly brace, and we're going to start at 21 and then count our way to 29. So 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, and finally 29. And then we close our set. So that's going to be your answer. So for this fourth practice problem, it says to list a set of natural numbers greater than 10 and less than 20 in Rosser method. So if our elements in our set are going to be greater than 10 but less than 20, that means that we have to include numbers from 11 to 19, because we're not including 10 and 20, because it says greater than and less than, not greater than or equal to and less than or equal to. So we're going to start at 11 and count our way to 19. So we have 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. We close our set, and that's going to be your answer. So for this fifth practice problem, it says to list a set of different types of coins used in a typical US currency system in Rosser method. So we're going to open our set using a curly brace, and we're going to list the different types of coins used in the US currency system. So we have a quarter, we have a nickel, we have a dime, and lastly we have a penny. And then we close our set. So that's going to be your answer. So for the sixth practice problem, it says for us to list a set of natural numbers less than 10 in Rosser method. So remember that natural numbers are non-negative integers. And so since our set wants us to have natural numbers less than 10, we're going to start at 0, because 0 is the smallest natural number and it's the smallest non-negative integer. So we're going to start at 0 and we're going to work our way up to 9. We're not going to include 10 because it says less than 10. 10 is not less than 10. So that means that we do not include it in our set. So we're going to start at 0, and then we're going to go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9, and then close our set, and that's going to be your answer.